Hello, and welcome to the MDT Scour Critical Bridge Map Overview. First of all, let's discuss what scour is and what a scour critical bridge is. Scour is the erosion of stream bed or stream bank material due to flowing water. Bridge scour occurs under and around a bridge, typically during a flood event. As part of the National Bridge Inventory, MDT inspects all public bridges, including state, county, and locally owned bridges. The Federal Highway Administration requires that bridges in the National Bridge Inventory be evaluated to determine if the bridge is at risk of failure due to scour. If the scour evaluation determines that the bridge is at risk of failure due to scour, the bridge is coded in the National Bridge Inventory as being scour critical. MDT created the Scour Critical Bridge Map to make it easier to view the locations and information about Montana's scour critical bridges. Next, let's look at how to access the Scour Critical Bridge Map on the internet with a PC or mobile device. The first step will be to go to the MDT homepage, which is just mdt.mt.gov. We'll come over here to Publications, Maps. We'll scroll down to Bridge and click on the Scour Critical Bridge Map. So when you access the Scour Critical Bridge Map, this welcome screen will appear. The welcome screen describes the purpose of the Scour Critical Bridge Map, which is to provide MDT and county personnel web access to Scour Critical Bridge locations, Scour Critical Bridge plans of action, and monitoring triggers. Monitoring triggers are typically a flow rate at a USGS stream gauge, but could also be a water surface elevation or other monitoring trigger. There's also a link to a help guide that outlines some of the features of the Scour Critical Bridge Map. Once you select OK, the Scour Critical Bridge Map will appear. Just to familiarize yourself, the legend is in the upper left here, and blue boxes are state bridges, and the white boxes are county or local bridges. You can see them on the map here. And right now, all the Scour Critical bridges are shown on the map, and it shows a total of 114 within the state at this time. So if we look over here on the right side, lower right corner, we have the ability to turn off certain boundaries. So we could turn off county boundaries. We could turn off maintenance boundaries for MDT maintenance boundaries. And then we also have some options for the background. We can do topographic MDT. We can do imagery with labels. But I like to use topographic with MDT the majority of the time. So the next in the upper right here are the filters for the Scour Critical Bridges. So we have a number of filters. We can filter by NBI 113 rating. We can filter by maintenance responsibility. We can filter by the inspection district. So this is MDT inspection districts. We filter by the MDT maintenance divisions. We can filter by the owner of the structure. And we can also filter by the counties. So for example, we could, if we wanted to zoom in on Beaverhead County, simply click here, it'll zoom you in on Beaverhead County. So for an example, let's look at a state-owned bridge, let's say in the Missoula district. And we want to say the owner of the structure is state. So that shows us the bridges in Missoula. So we're going to go down as an example and look at this bridge down here. It's the Bitterroot River south of Hamilton here. And if we go ahead and click on that blue box, it will bring up information over here regarding that bridge. So the first information you see has a Scour critical status, the owner, road carried, reference post, feature intersected, and the approximate location. The next you see here is actually the plan of action. So this, if you click on this link, it'll bring up the plan of action. So this is a state bridge. And we'll scroll down in the plan of action. Here's the actual plan of action. We'll scroll down and we're going to look at the monitoring trigger. So we come down to section 6, which includes the monitoring program. And it shows that we begin monitoring this bridge when the flows exceed at the Bitterroot River near Darby gauge of 8390 CFS, which is about the 5-year return interval. So if we go back to our Scour Critical Bridge map here, we see that trigger right here, 8390. We see the gauge that's associated with that trigger. We also see a link for the current USGS stream flow. So if you click this link, it'll take you to that current stream flow at that gauge. It's showing 350 CFS, which is well below the trigger. There's also a link for National Weather Service predicted flows. And so you can see that this predicts gauge heights and flows out into time. So when it's flood season and they predict it, they can actually predict when that flood might hit the gauge. And then below that, this is basically just general information regarding the structure. The MDT Scour Critical Bridges map has been recently updated to include a USGS gauge POA trigger monitoring layer. The USGS gauge POA trigger monitoring layer shows Scour Critical Bridges that have USGS stream gauge flow triggers in the Scour Critical Bridge plan of action for that bridge. The layer is automatically on when you open the Scour Critical Bridges map and can be turned off using the checkbox on the right side of the screen. So you can see it over here, right where it says turn layers on and off. The layer shows 3 USGS streamflow conditions in the left up here. You can see the monitoring types. So there's 3 conditions. The first would be the POA trigger flow exceeded, the POA trigger predicted to be exceeded, and the POA trigger not met. So as you can see here, everything's green right now. That means no, we don't have any flags. Everything is under where the PO trigger has not been met. And I should point out the POA trigger flow predicted exceedance, that'll only come up if there is a forecast stream flow available for that USGS stream gauge. So the purpose of this layer is to provide users with the ability to quickly view the current condition of USGS stream gauge flow triggers for Scour Critical Bridges. This concludes the Scour Critical Bridges map overview. Thank you.